Hi, welcome to Garage Geek. I hope everybody had a great week. This is Friday Night Chats. Now, for some reason in my neighborhood, people are blowing off fireworks. I have no idea why, but whenever they do that, my Chihuahua goes wild. And I'm sorry, but this is a live show, so if that happens, he starts barking, and I hate that because I know if you have dogs at home, it's going to make your dogs bark, and that's not a good thing. So I'm sorry if that happens. So I'll try to calm him down if that happens. Now, after school today, my husband forced me to go shopping. So we needed some stuff at Target. And so I decided to make a little bit of an evening out of it. So I went to a couple different places, including Target. So the first place I went to was a game store. Now, I was on with Geeks Love Dogs, and he was talking about gaming and solo gaming. And I just wanted to see what was available in the shop before I bought anything online. And I bought two solo games. One is called Exit the Game, and there's a whole bunch of these. And they have different levels of difficulty. I decided to get a pretty easy one. Now, they're $20 each, but what's weird about these is you only play them once. They come with all these items that you fold and manipulate and tear even. And it's like an escape room, and it's supposed to last, although it could be 1 to 4 players, it's supposed to last between 65 minutes to 2 hours. And I thought, this might be a good way to start doing a solo game. And then I also, on the way out, I saw this, and it was Maze Escapes, and it had no price on it. And it also said it was for one player, right? One player, 5 to 90 minutes. So I hope it wouldn't last 5 minutes, 5 to 90 minutes. And when I took it to the checkout, it was $10. So I was like, okay, let me try it. So I think my throat is getting bad. If you would like to see me do a video just recording me trying to figure out and playing this and going through it, of course I would speed up, the really slow parts, but discussing that because I'm a total newbie at doing that. If you're interested in seeing that video from me, would you please leave that in the comments? So that was the first store I went to, and I also I actually took some pictures, so hopefully I ported them over. I think I did. Let me sorry, I'm supposed to have this ready. Let me go ahead and show some of those pictures. Okay, so outside the shop, they had a Route 66 or a Route 66 sign. So I couldn't resist taking a picture with that. And then inside, as soon as you walk in, they have all of these dice just sitting there. And I had to get COVID and rub my hands all through it. And then here's a picture of the shop. They have an upper level. And then this is all the place with games. And then in the back, you can see it's an area where they do, gaming. So you can go in. They have newbie nights. I've never actually gone to one of those, and I really think I need to. I think I need to try out gaming a little more. They even sell snacks and drinks in the shop. So in case you're gaming and you want that, it's a pretty cool place. So here I am mugging it up in the shop. And so after that, I parked at Target, but I went across the street and I was looking through Romans, which is an independent bookstore. I really like that bookstore. But I didn't actually buy anything in there because I went to eat right next door. They have a Blaze Pizza, which is a place where you build your own pizza. So I got a small pizza, a small salad, and a canned drink, and it was $30. And I just thought, wow, that was pretty expensive. But I mean, I think that's typical. I don't know if that's typical Los Angeles or what. Both of these games cost me 30, and then it was the same as my dinner. So then I went to Target, and I did my shopping in Target. And what's really neat is that I have a Target Red Card, which is the credit card that I use, and I get points, and they just rack up. And the last time I decided to cash out my points, I just did it randomly, and I had like over 1,000. I think I had like 1,200 or $1,500, and they sent me a gift card, and I'm still using it. I spent $400 in Target today, and it was all free because I used it. And so something that I bought, which racked the price up, but I knew that I wanted it, and I figured since I had that card, I would splurge. And I bought this. This was $70. It's a new release. It's 2 games, Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2 for the Switch. And I remember playing this on my daughter's, it might have been GameCube, but no, I think that was Super Mario Sunshine. That was a fun game. I can't remember. Maybe Wii. But anyways, I really liked it. It like turned the perspective and everything. It was a really fun game. But I asked my daughter, and she's like, no, I don't remember liking that one. So I was kind of surprised. So I bought that. And then I'm a little bit of a sucker. So I actually bought these. And the reason I bought them is because they were having a Necco buy 2, get 1 free. And I've never seen that before, and I really, really wanted this. I've seen both of these before, and I resisted. But I saw the Metaluna Mutant one, and I just think it's so cool. The box is amazing, and then when you open it up, the actual figure is so cool that I decided that I really wanted this one. And since they were having a sale, and the weird thing is I've never seen this movie. I need to. But I think that creature is so cool. Here is the Mummy. I just love how they put the retro posters on these. And here's the figure of it. And these, I think they're about 35 each, but with the sale, that made it less, of course. Look at this one. London After Midnight. Look at how cool this one is. And it's like that. And I guess he can actually spread out his cloak to look like a bat. So I splurged, but it was kind of free. Anyways, buy two, get 1 free. I have a collection of these. I don't collect all of them that come out. There's a lot. But I have a bunch of the Universal Monsters. Don't have them all. But I think with these, I have about 10 or 12 now. They're fun, but these boxes kind of build up. There's nowhere to put them. So I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do with the box. I won't get rid of these boxes. I absolutely love these boxes. And even if I take the figures out, I will keep the boxes. All right. So then after Target, it was getting really late. And so my local comic book shop closes at 7, and it was already 6:20 or 6:30. So I booked it over the comic book shop, and I had these 2 magazines in my pull, and I was actually really happy to get this Mignola one. And so this one, that cover, it's okay. It's Neal Adams. So this one is issue 9, and this one's issue 10. So I went there for that. They had sent me a message saying, hey, we have some stuff in your, pull-list. You need to come and pick it up, blah, blah, blah. And so while I was there, I finally picked up an issue of Heavy Metal magazine. This is number 3. Now, I do not have issues 1 and 2, and I'm kicking myself that I didn't buy them. Sleepy reviewed the first one, and he gave it a very lackluster review, and I should listen to him. I trust him, but I just have that I want to see for myself kind of vibe with this. And I decided I liked the cover enough. There were 3 or 4 different covers. There were 2 that were really nice, but I ended up getting this one. What do you think? Do you like that cover? It's got some glare. And these magazines are super, super thick. Like, I mean, there's a lot to read in these. So I remember Sleepy also saying, like, it took him, like, forever to get through it. But in a sense, you're getting a lot of money for your, a lot of bang for your buck. Come on, come back up. I gotta get my dog up on the couch. Come here. Oh my God, you're seeing more of me than you need to. Okay, so, and as I was leaving, I saw this one, and everybody has been talking about how Batman and Robin has been a really great run. And this said it's volume 1, even though it says, which is weird, it collects Batman and Robin Memento, collecting Batman and Robin 14 through 19, even though this is volume 1. If anybody in the... There he is. It's getting cold, so he's got his little jacket on. But anyways, if anybody knows, like, why the first 13 represents something else, and they're starting volume 1 with number 14, please explain that to me, because I'm curious. And that was all I bought at the comic book shop. Like I said, I was running in. I only had 10 minutes in there. So now it's time for me to go on and talk to you about what I did this week. Now, the first thing I did was I watched Them Eat Me Alive. I thoroughly enjoyed this. It was worth the money. The last couple of stories that I hadn't read, I think one was about a spider and one was about a snake attack, and I really like that one. So this one, let me find it. Pit of a Million Snakes. So this plane goes down when they are transporting a prisoner, and so I think there's a pilot who's deathly afraid of snakes, and then there's the guy who like a warden, I guess, the guy who's transporting him, the police officer. And then there's the prisoner. And they land in a nest. Like, they have to make an emergency landing. And they land in a nest of vipers. And it's them, trying to survive. There is a hut that's about, I don't know, like a mile away. And they know it has gas. And they need to get to that hut so that they can get the gas. There's also... alligators involved in this. It was a fun story. I really, really enjoyed it. Here's some more of the pictures. I think I also read one about spiders. Let me see if I can find that. Oh, I did read this one about a cougar attack. And was it a cougar? A puma. And what was interesting is that the writer was actually sympathetic to the animal. And, told the story because, the people, they were hunting and the guy wasn't supposed to shoot at it, but he did. And that, the bullet didn't kill the cat, but it just, hit him enough to make him, crazy and angry. And he's going around, now he's going around, hunting and killing humans. So they have to go out and hunt him down. Yeah. I really, really enjoyed this, and I'm absolutely buying another in this series. In fact, I did buy an art book from this company, and I'm waiting for it to arrive. So you'll be hearing about that maybe next week. I watched a movie called The Substance. Now, Mr. E, the low-grade king, really, really recommended this movie. And I've been waiting for it to come on streaming. It was on Mubi, I think. Anyways, it was a streaming service that I don't have. So it finally came to HBO Max, or just Max. And I was blown away. I loved this movie. I was so entranced. It was so good. Now, I am going to say that the last third of this goes batshit bonkers like you would not believe. It was still enjoyable to watch, but I was just like, huh? What? Huh? And there's a couple of scenes that defy credibility, but at that point I was along for the ride. But the beginning and like I would say the first 2/3 of this movie is straight up very serious, dealing with heavy topics. And wow, I thought it was amazing. I really was on the edge of my seat, wondering what was going on, what was going to happen. Not wondering what was going on, but wondering where the story would take me. So it stars Demi Moore and another woman, this young woman whose name I forgot. There's so much nudity in this, but I think it's essential. Oh, it also stars Dennis Quaid, and he's really repulsive. But it has to deal with beauty and a woman's concept of her place in society when it comes to her looks and her age and what the society puts, especially in Hollywood. Wow, 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 is this movie good? But it's weird. It's so cool. It's a sci-fi movie. I'm not going to tell you what it's about because I just think you should watch it. It's so good, but it does have a very gross third act, and it's a lot to do with body horror, like a lot of that. There were 3 deaths recently, and that's always sad. The first one I'm going to talk about is Diane Keaton. I grew up with Diane Keaton. I'm sure most of us did. I'm just going to talk about my favorite movie of hers, which is Reds. I absolutely love this movie. I think it's great. There's Diane Keaton, Warren Beatty, and Jack Palance. Jack, what the hell's his name? Jack. He's one of the greatest Nicholson. If I didn't remember that, I was going to be like, what is wrong with my brain? He's like one of the greatest actors. So this is, and he plays Eugene O'Neill. This is such a great, great movie. But anyways, we're talking about Diane Keaton. Great loss. She was a great actress. You know, she could do all kinds of roles, like The Godfather to comedy. She was even singing in that movie with Bette Midler and I think Lily Tomlin. I'm not sure. Anyways, that movie's not my favorite, but I mean it's still a good movie. And of course, Ace Frehley from Kiss also died. This was, I'm not a big Kiss fan. I have nothing against them. I do like a bunch of their songs. I just have never really gotten into them as a group. But I did love that solo song of his, Back in the New York Groove. And I remember maybe it was about 5 months ago, I was like into that song and I had it on repeat and I kept singing it. It's a great song. So yeah, of course that's another loss. And finally, another one that is important to me is John Lodge from the Moody Blues. I'm a big Moody Blues fan, and I didn't download his picture. Let's see. Did I? I thought I downloaded another, but I downloaded this one just because I thought it was funny. I mean, look at the placement of that guitar. Like, what is going on there? Hello. But anyways, I just can't say enough about the Moody Blues. I love their early albums. I just think they're a great group. I know a lot of people don't like them. I've heard them say it. It was a period of time in music where, it might sound a little dated today. I grew up with it, so it doesn't sound dated to me at all. I love those albums. I saw them in concert a bunch of times. I would say at least 4, maybe 5 times. I just love the Moody Blues. And actually, Ray Thomas, Graham Edge, Mike Pinder, and now John Lodge, 4 of them have died. So that's sad. All right, a YouTuber from England, I forget his name, typical for me, but he was doing a Victorian read, and he was talking about how 3 Men in a Boat by Jerome K. Jerome is his favorite comedic novel. And I thought, well, I've never read it, so let me go ahead and give it a shot. So this is the version I listened to, Three Men in a Boat, Jerome K. Jerome. I think this is a book from like the 1890s. The one interesting thing about Naxos, if you listen to anything on Naxos, I think they were a classical music company predominantly, and so in between the chapters you'll get like little pieces of classical music, which I always think is kind of neat. But anyways, this is called Three Men in a Boat, to say nothing of the dog. Now, comedy, as I've said over and over, is not my favorite, but I really did enjoy this novel. It reminded me a lot of there's a Mark Twain novel where I think it's called Innocents Abroad. There's just I remember it all these people just, they go on a trip around the world, but now I can't remember why. And this is three men who get in a boat and they're going down the Thames River, and you know they're just, I don't want to say idiots, but they're just like bumbling. I don't know how to describe them, but I mean, they've got their own way of looking at the world, and they're always kind of fighting with each other, but in a playful way, and then like going off on adventures and stumbling through everything. And it is a really, really fun novel, and I'm glad that I read it. I think this book would best be enjoyed. I think I'd like to actually buy a copy of this. I think this book would best be enjoyed, now that I've read the whole thing and I know what's going on in it, if you were to just pick up a random chapter and read it, because each chapter is like a vignette of what happens, and the whole chapter will be about like one like mini adventure. And so all the jokes are within it and kind of complete. And I think that would be a great way to experience this book, by just dipping in and out of it. So I think I am going to buy it just for that purpose, and I'm going to try that. I didn't do much of anything this week when it came to movies and TV shows. I watched one episode of Alfred Hitchcock Presents, and that was episode 4, Don't Come Back Alive. Now, this was a really fun episode. It was about a husband who he doesn't have a good job, and he's older, and he comes up with a scheme where he is going to cheat the insurance company to get money by pretending that his wife is dead. The wife has to agree to it, and she has to leave for 7 years, and they have to have minimal contact. Well, the whole time there's an insurance guy, and he's hounding him because he thinks he killed his wife. And so he's treating him like a murderer, and he's hounding him. And it was actually really, really fun. The end has a kind of fun twist to it. And it wasn't you could see things coming. I mean, it was good, okay? I mean, it wasn't perfect, but I think I really enjoyed the acting and the situations. A lot of it was over the top, but it was a lot of fun. And so I would give this one about a 4 out of 5. So that one is episode 4, Don't Come Back Alive. Oh, wait, I have one more picture of... like, the wife is all mealy. Like, she can't stand that they're alone. And, she needs to get it in her head that they can't see each other. They can't contact each other. And she keeps calling on the phone and whining that she needs to meet him. And, I mean, I just kept thinking, she's going to get them caught. In fact, she calls, of course, one time when the insurance guy is there, and he thinks that guy is having an affair and that he killed his wife because he wants to be with another woman. I mean, the wife just keeps messing it up. And here they're meeting in a library. It was such a fun and funny episode. I recommend it. It was fun. Now, I have a book. So this is going to be the controversial one. So this is Hunters of Dune. Now, Hunters of Dune is the first sequel to the actual Dune saga, and they made 2 books as the sequel. Instead of making 1, they made 2. So that's Brian Herbert the son and Kevin J. Anderson. And I can understand why this could be really, really controversial. Now, these 2 made 2 sets of trilogies that predated the Dune series. At least one of them did. Maybe no, I think the other one. No, the other one is in the future, one series, and then one trilogy is in the past. Now, what this does, which I found kind of really interesting, is it takes the ideas from Dune and it takes their ideas that they did in the prequel and it melds them together. And so now you've got the Dune world and the son and Kevin J. Anderson's world coming together. And now I could see why people do not like this book with a passion, because they kind of took their own ideas and they kind of bastardized the ideas of Dune. I thought it was great because I really liked the prequel trilogy. I've said my ideas. It's not as good as the Dune, but they're fun action novels, right? And so for them to do that, I thought was bold. I thought it would turn off so many people, and yeah, I think that's what did it, right? Besides the quality of the writing. But I went ahead and I really enjoyed this, and I can't wait to listen to the final book in the Dune saga. And that's probably going to make people mad because they don't believe these books belong tacked on to the end. So what happened was the very last book of Dune, I think it was called Chapter House Dune, ended on a cliffhanger, and then less than a year later, the author died. And he left some notes and some, outlines that the son finally found. And they finally went ahead and they fleshed it out. Although they said in the afterword that there wasn't much there, and that almost all of the ideas had to come from these 2 working together. Again, Hunters of Dune, I liked it. I can't wait for the next one. All right. Then I just finished this book today. So this book is called Flesh by David Zaley. I think it's called his Zaley. It's S-Z-A, Zaley or Zaley. So this was nominated for the Booker Prize, I think. I know it was long-listed. I'm not sure if it was short-listed. I wonder if I have that picture here. I might. Yes, I do. Okay. Ooh, it did make the short list. So these are all the books that I read. So now I can check that one off there and there. I'm so glad. I loved this book. Wow, did I love this book. There was another book that I really, really liked called Audition. I thought that one was good. This one was equally as good. This book was right up my alley. Now, there are going to be a couple of problems that I'm going to talk about. So the beginning of this book was so erotic, but for the wrong reasons. I felt like a pervert. So this book is about... it's basically the life of a man, and we kind of follow him from when he's about 15 up until he's in his 50s. And there was one problem with the audio. So the audio, the person would read it, and I think in the book they would have chapters that would just end, and then the next chapter would begin on another page. Right? And sometimes there aren't chapter headings. There would just be breaks. But in the audio, you don't hear those breaks. And so every break, they would jump ahead in his life, sometimes a decade, sometimes only a few years. And it was really disorienting because all of a sudden, it would just be different. And I would have to try to catch on After it happened 2 to 3 times, I was like, okay, I get it. Every so often they're going to be jumping ahead. So I got it. But it was a little disorienting in the audio, which I think they should have done. They should have added like a beep or something and explained it. But anyways, so the first part of this book was the main character being seduced by an older woman, and it's graphic, and quite frankly, it's very sexy the way it's written, and you got to feel bad because this woman is taking advantage of a minor, and this does have some really, really bad consequences. And I think we're supposed to feel bad about finding that erotic. I mean, I feel gross, but it was really erotically written. But I do recognize that the storyteller or the writer is dealing with a certain kind of character, and this character was almost emotionless, or he didn't express himself. He was more about action. And throughout this book, it's him reacting in ways, and it takes it's so well written, except for one caveat. There's a lot of okays, yeahs, and I understood why the writer was doing it. So the writing is very minimalistic. So we have to project what we're thinking into the character and try to understand his actions. It's actually a really interesting way to deal with this writing. But there's going to be long periods in this where they're going back and forth and saying, yeah, okay, yeah, what did you think? It's okay, but what do you really mean? It's okay. And like while this is going on, we're trying to interpret, like, why doesn't this character want to express himself? And why, like, this and that and the other thing? But it happens a lot. And so I had to get used to that as well. And I know that sounds like a major negative, but it's not, because it's part of the characters and the way they like, people can't, the author is trying to show how people do not really communicate when they're speaking to each other, and that leads to massive problems. The ending of this book was a bit heartbreaking. We follow this character, and this character, I think the name of the book is Flesh, because he is propelled by his like drives, and he's not overly so. He goes through a couple of traumatic events early in his life, the one that I explained to you, and then there's a couple of others, and he goes through his life like this, and at the end he has to make a choice. And I'm not going to spoil this for you, but he makes the right choice, but it's the wrong choice for him. But it's he does the morally correct thing. And I really, really enjoyed that about this novel. And again, we see the repercussions of that choice to him. And the end of the book is like pretty heartbreaking. And it's just, the writing is so good in this. But if you're a person that won't want to, like, you've got to work in this book, because like I said, there's a lot of very, very minimalist, sparse writing that we have to like really project ourselves into to try to understand what's going on. But man, I'm glad this one made it to the short list. So now Flesh and Audition. I need The Land in Winter, The Rest of Our Lives, The Loneliness of Sonia and Sunny, and Flashlight. And I actually have Flashlight in my queue right now. So I'll at least have read 1, 2, 3 of the 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 6. Well, that's half. I'm kind of doing well. Although, knowing me, they probably already announced the winner, and I just don't know it. And then the final thing that I'm going to talk to you about tonight is we're at 34 minutes. That's pretty good. I hardly read anything this week, so I'm going to I thought I would flesh this out a little bit. My throat is really hurting. I got to be careful. I just read a couple of comics. So I didn't even finish this. I read Miles Morales, Spider-Man, a few more issues, and this is so well written. It's just so good. Now, the issues I dealt with were Spawn, and of course, Spider-Man, any Spider-Man has to have a tragedy to build on. And so we get it here. Spawn kills a family member, and I'm not going to reveal which one. And then Miles is dealing with that emotionally. So he decides that he's not going to be Spider-Man, and it's, as you can see, 1 year later. And it's like the other characters in this book, at least in that issue, they're trying to pull him back from this depression. And it's really, really well written. It's good. And so here we have Cloak and Dagger showing up. I really do need to finish this. Now, what's bad about this is I just did my DCBS order, and Volume 3 came out. And Volume 3, it was $27, and I decided not to buy it. I'm really kicking myself, but my order was already $250, and I took off this, and I took off a Hulk Modern, which had like the red Hulk on the front. And I'm sure that's something I really want to read as well, but that one was also like $26 to $29. I thought $50 for two, and they're just getting really expensive. And I know that's not actually really expensive, but when you add up everything I'm buying, you know, I had to make some sacrifices. So I think I might add them back because I'm regretting it, especially because I really do like the writing and the art. And the third volume finishes the run that they were on. So I really do need to finish it, especially since I'm enjoying it so much. I read the first issue of The Immortal Thor. This is a lauded run, and I opened it and I was having trouble with the art, but I started to really like it. Overall, the art is okay, but when it comes to epic moments, the art is nice. Like there's some full page art. Now in this, it starts off, Thor is the king of Asgard, and he's a new threat is coming. There's the Rainbow Bridge. There are alternate universe versions of Thor, Loki, and other people with all of these crazy powers, and they are coming for Asgard. I mean, look at this really cool image. I mean, I was starting to get into the art. I mean, when you have a double page spread like that, and then another one like that, too bad there's gutter loss there. So yeah, I was getting into, so some of this art is really nice for the action scenes. And so I only read one issue, and it ended with a cliffhanger. And then of course, there's the cliffhanger. That won't mean much to you. But the covers by Alex Ross are just gorgeous. So, sorry, I didn't read more of that. And I don't know, I think I'm running out of steam. Can you guys feel that? I think it's because of my throat. I read like this much of the DC horror, and I'm really, really enjoying this. This is really fun. You should get this. The cover price is $40, and I think I paid $20 or $21 for it. It's so worth $20. So I'll go quickly through the issues. So here is the first issue that's in this volume. It's House of Mystery, number 180 at 12 cents. Look at that cool cover. There's a couple of stories. The first one is a fantasy story called Comes a Warrior, and this is where a guy is out to slay a dragon, and the art is pretty cool. But this has some very, look at this page, very unforeseen consequences, a la like Pandora's Box or something like that. So I'll leave it there. The next one was even like, sorry, my face is itchy. His name is Kane. His name is Kane. This was like a meta story of Gil Kane. And it was hilarious because Gil Kane is just complaining how he's amazing and how no one deserves to ink his stuff or to draw his stuff, or like his work is the best, and he's going on, and he's like railing at his publisher, and it's really funny because I wrote Sleepy, and I was like, what is going on with this? This is hilarious. And he's like, unfortunately, I think that's the way he really was. But he was poking fun of himself. And I think he got into trouble because he was stealing artwork. So anyways, it ended great too. It ended kind of like an episode of the what was it? No, Night Gallery. One of my favorite episodes. Well, they made it into a movie, and it kind of reminded me of that. So I'm not going to spoil it. Then there's also comics by, I think, Sergio Aragonés, and those are fun. There was a story about gangsters, and they come in contact with a boy. They're trying to, I forget why they're doing it, but they're crossing a field, and they're warned not to, and they get their comeuppance. It was a really good story, and I actually liked it so much. I was trying to look up Cliff Rhodes, the writer, and I couldn't find any information about him. But this was a funny and fun story. Next, we had, I guess the art in this is by Bernie Wrightson. Although, I mean, I think that says Wrightson. It could be Plug, though, but I think it's Wrightson. And that one was, I thought it was silly, but still the art. And then there's another the Kane's Game Room by Sergio Aragonés. There's some true life about the history of fingerprints. That was fun. The next issue is called Unexpected number 113. And we got this this cool skull type image. The Shriek of Vengeance. That was okay. This guy who committed a crime, and all he's doing is he's waiting to get out. He won't confess where the money is, and so he's just waiting to get out. And so someone kidnaps those kind of people to get them to talk so they can get their money. And so this one is kind of like really psychedelic. It's a lot of fun. The art. Like here's another one, like right there. And I'll move on after that. And the next one, The Eyes of Death. I don't think I like that one very much. I can't even remember it. I can't remember what's going on in this one. Well, I think this guy sees ghosts. Oh, yeah, I do remember. So every time someone's about to die, he sees a ghost. And they run with that. Okay, the next one is not the Tunnel of Love, the Tunnel of Fear. And so if you go through this Tunnel of Love, it's actually becoming, scary. And so this guy comes in and everything in there like comes to life and attacks you and blah, blah, blah. Okay, we'll move on from that one. And the next issue is The Witching Hour, number 3. Like, oh, I almost dropped this. Look at that cool cover. The witches and goblins or whatever are in a tree looking down on the kids walking through the woods at night. And the girl is saying, it's 12 o'clock, the witching hour. That's kind of cool. All right. And what's going on in this one? Oh, I only got to the beginning. So we just have, in the beginning, we have the introduction where the three witches are going to each tell a tale, and we, the reader, has to decide which one is telling the best tale, because they're all making fun of the youngest witch, and they're saying that her stories basically suck, and she's going to prove that the older witches are wrong. And that's where I stopped, basically, in that. So there you have it. I explained to you about my shopping trip. I showed you a little bit of the stuff that I bought. Did I forget any pictures? No. Okay, I think I did all those pictures. Oh no, I forgot this one. So tomorrow, for me, it's 4 p.m. So 4 p.m. tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a live stream with Jeff's Cave of Cool Books, and it's actually going to be on my channel this time. He gave me a list of 11 things that I have to do or talk about, and so it's going to be one of those back and forth where it's all about horror, and some of it's a lot about experience, like, you know, what was your favorite book or this or experience or movie or that kind of thing. So we're going to be going back and forth. And so that's going to be tomorrow on my channel at 4 o'clock. And of course, he's doing it from Japan, so I think it's going to be like 10 in the morning for him. So then I talked about finishing this book with snake and puma attacks. I talked about the movie The Substance. A+, you gotta watch it. Talked about the 3 deaths, Diane Keaton, John Lodge, and Ace Frehley. Talked about the comedic book 3 Men in a Boat. I did recommend that one. If you do like older, what do you call it, classical reading and comedy. I only watched one episode of Alfred Hitchcock Presents, and I did like it, and that was Don't Come Back Alive. I talked about the controversial Hunters of Dune, which I did like. If you like the prequels, then you'll like this one. If you didn't like the prequels, you absolutely won't like this one. I talked about the Booker shortlisted novel Flesh. That one was 2 gigantic thumbs up for me. Loved it. But it's very sparse, very minimalistic. If nothing else, listen to the beginning and feel guilty for I mean, it was erotic. And then I did talk about 3 comics that I have been reading and that I should have finished them all, and I didn't. Okay, bad Garage Geek. I remember, if you want to see me do one of these games like an idiot, then please let me know that. So I want to thank all of you for the support. Any comments that you leave are greatly appreciated. And we were lucky. My dog did not bark at all to any of the fireworks because there weren't any.